Welcome to USA Biz Party Live. I am so glad that you could join us today. My name is Anna Scheller. I host the USA Biz Party Twitter chat every single Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we would love for you to be able to join us sometime on the chat. Today, oh, you know what? And one other thing I want to mention is that one of the things we're doing once a month is we're bringing together topics that are important in the moment to businesses that operate in the United States. But most of the topics we talk about are not just for US businesses. I'm sure that businesses across the world are dealing with similar situations. And so today's topic, I'm super excited about because it's on everybody's mind. Today's topic is about the recession. Ooh, okay. Nobody likes to talk about things that are unpleasant. We're going to do that. And I have a wonderful panel that I'm about to introduce here in just a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor. One, if you're watching on YouTube or any of the social media channels, please like this broadcast. Like it so other people know what we're doing. And also, comment. We'll be taking comments throughout. If you have something that you'd like to say or you have a question for our panelists, we would love to hear from you. I just got to tell you, and they would love to be able to chat with you as well. Also, I want to thank you for subscribing to this channel on YouTube and click that little bell right there somewhere. I think it's right here. Anyway, click the bell right there so you get notified every time we go live. Now, you're not here to listen to me talk about the channel. You're here because you're interested in hearing about what do we need to do to recession-proof our business. And so I have two amazing experts that I'm going to introduce. The first one I'm going to introduce is, let's get everybody up here. There we go. So in the middle, you will see Alyx Broken. Good. Did I say that right?
Brocken.
Well, see, you have to ask. Always have to ask. So Alyx Brocken, as well as Maiko Sakai. Sakai, is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So Alyx is a licensed insurance agent with the Farmers Insurance Agency known as Charlie Apple in Colfax, Washington. If you don't know where that is, it is in the eastern side of Washington. It is on the drier side. So it can get a little warm, but they do get cool weather, a lot more than we do in Texas. Alyx also has her own YouTube channel. So she is a lover of animals and all things homesteading. If you want to know more about that, just find Just Lil Farm, just a Little Farm, JUSTALILFARM on YouTube, and subscribe and like her channel as well. Please do. We also have with us Maiko. Maiko is the founder of Airtight Concepts. And I love how she looks at her clients because Maiko, she doesn't look at her clients as just entrepreneurs. I mean, come on, that's starting to become very cliche, right? Instead, she calls them ground go-getters. How about that? I love that. I really love that. To shift from operating a transactional business to a transformational business through her two business programs, Define and Refine Your Profitable Niche and Business Optimizer 360. Maiko is actually going to be our guest this coming Tuesday to talk about niche, particularly as it relates to how do we deal, what do we do with that inside a potential recession, right? Yeah. Alyx, by the way, she is a regular USA Biz Party participant, have been for quite some time. She's actually been a guest a few times. And so we're delighted to have you ladies. So Alyx, if you want to share a little bit more about yourself.
Sure, yeah. My name is Alyx. Pleasure to meet all of you. I live over in, like Anna said, the eastern side of Washington State, where it's nice and dry, right in the middle of farm country. So this time of year, we are in full swing harvest. So I spend a lot of time outside with animals and farm equipment and all that when I'm not in doing insurance stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alyx. And then, Maiko, share a little bit about yourself, please.
Of course, it's completely opposite from where Alyx is. I'm based in New York City, but you know what? Alyx was so kind enough to give me a screenshot of all the homesteading books that I should be reading a little while back. So there's that connection right there. But anyway, I'm based in New York, and I help a lot of creative entrepreneurs, so that they can stop getting in their own way. We all do, and we just have to help each other. I do as well. I get in my own way, every now and then. So I'm not on my soapbox, just to let you know. But thank you.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that. I think the focus is that we need to remember we are in progress. No matter where we are, there's good that is happening in our world. And no matter where we are, there's good that still needs to be done. And the growing process can be painful, but it's definitely worth it. So, for our panelists today, our first question is probably the question most people are thinking. My goodness, what costs do, with an impending recession, what do I need to think about cutting costs? And we really want to decide what's the difference between an essential cost and a non-essential cost. So, which of you ladies would like to go first? Maiko, I'm gonna pick on you first.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, before we get to it, though, one thing that I do wanted to point out is that, before you get too panicky about uncertainty or things that we're not really sure what's going to happen down the road, to your business, if you're thinking that way, let's take a deep breath. It's super important. Don't roll your eyes, but anything that any decisions that we make out of fear or out of panic is not going to go well. So don't try to make quick decisions out of fear or out of panic. I just wanted to put that out there first because you wanted to make the right decisions, right? I'm sure. And those good or right decisions wouldn't come from the place of, feeling panicky or, being fearful. So that's number one. But number two, just make sure that you don't get the investing expenses. Well, I shouldn't say investing, the investment versus expenses, right? You have to invest in your business, whether it's time, energy, or money, or all of the above. There are certain things that you wanted to invest in. There's a difference between investing and expensing. So I want you to understand that when you're coming up with a list of things that you wanted to revisit in terms of expenses, make sure that none of them are part of your investing strategy, meaning you have to invest in yourself to learn something new, or you have to invest the time and energy to build a system in your business or whatever you have on your mind. Those are investing that you get returns down the road in the near future, hopefully, or over a long time period. Those are not expenses. Now, when it comes to expenses, well, it's a good start if you start looking at bank statements and credit card statements and see what you've been subscribing to every month that you're not using. We all have one or two or even few of those things. You can start from there, but I don't want it to have a too long-winded answer, so I'm going to stop it right here for now. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I was doing some scratching over here. I didn't want it to come across while you were talking. Thank you, Maiko. I love how you're making a distinction between investment and expense. I actually just recently just started going through my credit cards thinking, okay, am I really using this service? No. Will it be something I might revisit later? Absolutely. But for the time being, if I'm not saying that service, it's like a graphic downloading service. That's not necessarily going to hold true forever and ever. But if I'm not using the service, then I really need to see exactly what you were talking about, Maiko. And the other thing too, Maiko, that I loved you talked about is that we need to invest in ourselves in learning and in those things that are going to yield dividends down the road and not necessarily in the immediate future. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Alyx, you're up.
Yeah. So I also agree with Maiko that investing is hugely important in current and then for the future. Something that we definitely look at when we have to potentially tighten our belt a little bit is we look at what we absolutely have to function on a daily basis. So not just utilities and services, but things that help you keep running smoothly. This for us means looking at things that aren't traditionally seen as essential services for a business. We have a service through a phone provider for sending SMS messages to our clients. And we see it as essential because it's another avenue to make our customers' experience better, which for us makes it essential. So it always depends business to business, but it's what helps you not only keep running smoothly, but to invest in yourself.
I like the concept of what you need to do to keep running smoothly, because that's going to, your perspective, and ladies jump in anytime, but how you approach your business, if you feel that you've got a steady movement, at least in your systems and how you handle the business, then you're going to come across more confidently as you speak to your clients. And there was one other thing I wanted to touch on too. So thank you for sharing that, Alyx. And again, I think people have to look at, sometimes the first thing that goes is marketing. People are like, oh, no, I'm not, that tends to be one of the first things that people look at slashing. And in my business, marketing is so crucial that I may shift how the marketing is working. That's why I have regular meetings with the CMO. But what we have to look at the long-term benefits, and we have to also look at how are we going to stay top of mind with our customers. And I love Maiko. Is it Maiko? Maiko.
It's Maiko.
Maiko. Okay, thank you. So I love how you talked about don't make decisions from fear. Those are the worst decisions that you can absolutely make. And so thank you for sharing that. Moving on, the next question, and my comments will lead into that. And so, Alyx, we're going to go to you first this time. How do you make yourself essential to your customers? That is super important. How do you make yourself essential?
So we all know insurance is really important. We see it as essential. Insurance is like having a seatbelt in your car. It is something that you hope you never need, but you're going to be happy you have it when you do need it. And I would argue that the biggest part of an insurance agent's job is showing clients that we are essential. So a lot of what we do is storytelling, using real world scenarios with emotional importance to that client to show them where we step in and take away their worry and protect them, their family, and whatever else they hold important. So it's all about becoming essential.
Right. And I would venture to say, in addition to that, so I love educating your clients through storytelling. And I see Maiko nodding her head. So we're going to get to you in just a second there, young lady. I want to say too that you do have to stay in front of your customers, because especially when fear creeps in, and let's face it, with talk about recession coming, it's so easy to want to, I don't know, hide in your bomb shelter, if you will, right? I mean, I remember as a kid, that was a huge, hairy, big deal. We actually practiced. I remember we would practice going to the bomb shelter. So that tells you how old I am. I'm older than I look. And but but you need to stay out in front of your customers. So speaking to the other point you had about keeping the messaging and staying in touch, I mean, email marketing services I think are essential because you got to stay in touch with your clients because especially with a recession coming and they're fearful, you got to be the one, that voice of reason for them to help them see the way out of their worries and concerns. Okay, Maiko, you're up next, my dear.
Thank you, Anna. Anna, you made some great points as well. It is like more than ever, it is really crucial to stay in touch with our existing clients, past clients, and potential clients. And I love the fact that how Alex, talked about storytelling, and we are all wired to digest the stories much better. So I love what she's doing, and I get to see that all the time over Twitter. So, which is really fantastic. That's how we know each other, over Twitter. Now, what I say about my business, how to make myself or maintain myself to be essential, is to stay relevant and current. And I say that, it actually says it at the bottom of my website. If you go there, stay current, stay relevant. And that includes continuous learning to understand the landscape that we are dealing with. I know that the many, including the major media's outlets and different channels or business experts, they all have been talking about inflation and a recession, all those things. And sometimes those terms can be very scary to a lot of people, not really understanding what's involved. And each recession can be different, right? The one that may or may not come up in the near future might not be the same as the last one. So in my business, as a business consultant to entrepreneurs, obviously I do continuously learn about what's at hand and what other experts are thinking, what's going to happen. Not that they're all going to have to happen, but I continuously sort of like keeping my eye on those things and also form my own ideas so that I can help my clients in the best way possible. And another piece is also, again, I'm going to bring up the whole mindset part, thing. It is about how we want to feel running our businesses, and we don't want to be operating our businesses out of fear either. So I wanted to be here to be able to support everyone who are feeling a little, scared, possibly, a little bit panicky, a little bit fearful, to say, look, there are things that we can do to prevent, some bad things to happen to your business. So that is how I keep myself relevant.
You're muted again, Anna.
Yeah. Well, no live stream is perfect, right? But staying essential and relevant is really very, very important because people's needs change. And with the news with the news being as it is, and honestly, I don't like paying attention to the news because to me much it's much easier for me to keep my ear to the ground when I'm, out and about with my customers or I'm dealing with potential customers. I think we have to be careful not to let the news become our main feed for our businesses.
I totally agree with you on that. Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Alex, you're nodding your head. You want to share a little bit there too?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you too. Definitely don't like to listen to the news and just listen as I see things.
Right. I think too, people have to remember that some of the greatest, the people that we admire that have made it in business, number one, most of them did it in downturns of the economy. So not that I'm predicting that there will be one, but we really have to make sure that we realize that we still contribute greatly to how our business is going to turn. It's the feds or whoever is running the economy, they don't determine how our business works. We determine how our business works, and that's actually a very freeing concept. Okay, our last question for today is, how can people reduce their anxiety and panic during a recession? So I'm really super keen. Maiko, we're going to let you go first this time.
Yeah, so the first suggestion that I have, would be to reduce the amount of uncertainties as much as possible in your business. And when I say that, I'm not asking you to become a fortune teller. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe there are some areas in your business that you're not too sure of. Like, for example, a lot of creative types, creators, and entrepreneurs may feel the same way, where they don't like to look at numbers. For example, you might say something like, I'm not a really a numbers person. I get all that, but that gray area can induce your level of anxiety even more in that sense. So nothing bad's going to happen. All right. Nobody's looking at you or judging you in any way. Just take a look at your numbers. This is just an example, by the way. Take a look at your numbers and see what you're dealing with. And all of a sudden, just by knowing what's going on, maybe what you see may not be ideal. It doesn't matter. By just facing it head on can make you feel better. So that would be my first suggestion. The second suggestion is that we always get through. Nothing is permanent. Sunny days aren't permanent, right? Rainy days aren't permanent either. So we have this ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and that's very normal. So don't feel like this is whatever the situation that you are in, it's going to last forever. Even when you're doing really well, that's not going to last forever either. So either way, we get to see new business opportunities. So it's better to be curious and get excited.
Absolutely. I love it. And I did turn my mic on this time. So and I like that we always get through. I think we listen to the scare stories, oh, this person in my industry, they suffered and this is what happened to them. And so we begin to build an expectation that's going to happen to us. I'm dealing with some stuff right now where, yep, that things could go that direction. So if they go that direction, then we need to make a plan. We need to see what we're going to do to manage that. And I love how you talked about numbers, because I think one of the most important things that entrepreneurs are afraid of is numbers. They really, really are. And I've been guilty of it. I've been so guilty of it. I've actually hired a team to help me to get through the numbers piece, because if you don't have good numbers, you can't direct your business. And the numbers aren't I think people have to realize numbers are numbers. They're not, it's not a judgment call on your ability. It's not, oh my gosh, I've misused these funds. Okay, so maybe you did. Fix it. But you can't fix what you don't know. And, it will take courage. Maybe you need a friend like Maiko to step in and help you with that. So little plug there. Okay, Alyx, you're up next, my dear.
I'm glad you two brought those up, because my answer ties right into that. I was going to say, when times are good, when money is good, you want to save, build a budget, work with a financial advisor, pay off debts, stock up, figure out what you are weak on and get better at it. And then when things start to take a downturn, because, there is the ebb and flow, get educated, get involved with government, community groups, places that will teach you how to navigate being financially independent and healthy in those situations.
Definitely agree. because I think because of recession, people immediately, so they'll either hoard and then they won't spend, and then they get into trouble that way, or they are not thinking in terms of building a nest egg for whatever happens. And I understand that sometimes you can't build a nest egg as big as you want. The purpose of a nest egg is it's not your survival gear for a year. It's it's there to help you feel confident as you begin to explore other things. And I think the situation with COVID, where there was a lot of pivoting, there was a lot of switching around, that I really can be a great way to think about how to prepare in the event that the economy seems to be working against us. And so I think pivoting is a very key part. And, doing an evaluation of your skill sets to see how can you cross sell, or what can you offer that people really, really need right now. So in insurance, maybe it's a different product. And when it comes to niching, what are the things, that's where the psychographics become important, because you need to understand, what is your customer going through? How can you make their life better? That's going to help you in any economy, good, bad, or indifferent. Any last words, ladies, before we close out?
No, just thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure. Maiko?
Yeah, no, it's been fun. And, even though the word recession can be scary, it doesn't really have to be. It's all about having this kind of open communications and the support that we give to each other, and we can get through this. So that would be my final word, but I really enjoyed this session. So thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure. Again, I want to thank you for joining us today on this live event for USA Biz Party. I can tell you, I took notes and I feel greatly encouraged about whatever's coming down the pike. Want to encourage you to listen to this, take some notes yourself, figure out where your weaknesses are, some things that you need shoring up. Join us on the chat every Tuesday. We would love to hear from you. Any ideas, questions you have, because we draw a lot from the participants and we have very knowledgeable participants. Again, a big thank you to Maiko and to Alyx for joining me today. Please, again, thank you again for clicking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, USA Biz Party. That's who we are. Again, make it a great day. We'll see you again next month on USA Biz Party Live.